Welcome back to So This is Thailand, and we're here on Expert Advice with a guest who has been on the show before, giving us advice about how to start a business. Now he's back to tell you what it takes to keep it running. Welcome again to the show to BJ Radomski, founder of Big Picture Business Builders. How are you today?
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Good. So, right, now we want to know, once you've written the business plan, got it going, so what does it take to make a really excellent business?
I can tell by your voice that you've already written a business plan since we last spoke, right? Well, in writing the business plan, what that requires is that one of the most important elements of running a successful business is to create the vision. To be able to be that visionary, to think really big. And that's where entrepreneurs do really well. Right. They have these fantastic ideas and that don't stop coming in. And that's great to get you started. But for the idea to come to life, we need a very different set of behaviors, which is almost the opposite of being the visionary, which is someone who's very detail-oriented, someone who's going to be able to create that very detailed and itemized plan. So that's a second part, and the two of those quite often don't come naturally in the same person.
Right.
So if you're the big picture thinker, we have to make sure that you don't miss the boat on getting that small detail filled in as well. So those are two. There's a few more elements that are important as well.
Well, looking in industry right now, can you think of any business leaders that come to mind that really are good examples of, here's a big thinker, but here's another person who's really the detail-oriented person?
A distinction between the two, some that are...
Well, I was just thinking, because a lot of people are like, well, if you look at Steve Jobs, is Steve Jobs someone who's a big thinker, or the detailed, or is he a combination of both? How does he,
Well, that was an excellent example, because Steve Jobs, we see as visionary, was fantastic. And we see as the attention to detail, was at the top of the game there. And so from those 2 points, we can see that he had a lot of tremendous skills. There's a few other areas that maybe we see that weren't as strong, and that was in the ability to communicate individually with others on a one-on-one basis. I've never been there, never worked with Mr. Jobs, I couldn't say, but we certainly have heard stories that have come out that maybe from a personal communication style is something that could have been improved a little bit.
So from the visionary to the small details, it's, how do you say, what are like the key kind of checkpoints that one needs to build on or to look for when you're kind of...
Well, checkpoints are great, because if we leave it up to ourselves, we just sort of tend to follow what comes most natural for us and easiest for us. And that isn't everything we need to run the organization. So having systems or checklists in place are a good point. And that's where the planning side of the leader will put these programs in place. And so maybe that's your Monday meetings, that's your quarterly scheduled getaways where the team has a chance to develop as a team. And then the most important element as well is the development of the leader himself.
All right.
So the personal development, the ability to control your emotions, the ability to stay focused and motivated, even when the business is going a little tough. That when you do get set back, you still have the strength to come back and push your business forward.
Right.
So when you mentioned these attributes of a good leader, if you could just go through each one of those so we know, all right, number 1, number 2, number 3.
Okay, sure. So the first one, again, to recap, was the visionary. And that's what we see with most entrepreneurs, the ability to think of the big picture. What do I want my business to be? Okay. The second element is, for that to come to life, we need to be able to set some goals and have some detailed planning in process. Third is, you're not going to do that on your own. So you're going to need to be able to communicate. You're going to be able to communicate to people who are unlike you, as well as people who are like you. You're going to be talking to investors, you'll be selling to customers, you'll be motivating your team. Fourth is the ability to build a team. Teams are not really natural. There's going to be conflict when you bring a variety of people together. So as a leader, how can you deal with that team? And the last aspect is taking care of yourself personally, which is the personal power. Managing your emotions, staying motivated, staying focused, and being able to come back every day to drive your business forward.
Sounds hard.
It's enjoyable. All you need is just a little bit of coaching and maybe some tools, and that business plan that you're working on will come to life soon enough.
Now, these attributes, do they only work with small to medium enterprise, or is this something that even a CEO of a multinational company can really benefit from?
All areas of leadership, and it's not just in business. A good part of my business is mapping this to how it fits into your personal life as well. You'll see that these same attributes are important in your personal relationships, in what you're trying to do with your family, as well as what you're looking to do in a corporate world.
Something just popped in my head. The fact that we're here in Thailand, I know a lot of expats, foreigners who come here, they have a certain style of communication. You mentioned number 3 on the list there. And when they come to Thailand, it's a different culture here. It's a different way of working. They might find that particularly difficult when working with Thai staff or Thai counterparts. How would you advise them to really overcome some of those obstacles?
One of the things that a lot of people will, when they're working in an expat environment, is they do start to blame cultures as being the reason for lack of communication. And I don't really respect that. The culture is just a symptom. When we get beneath that, people are people. And when you understand how to communicate with another, it's not a cultural difference that's going to get in the way. In fact, it makes the other person maybe even a little more interesting. But the real key is learning how to understand how to communicate to people on a more basic level.
So having been in Thailand for a while, would you say that you would need to communicate to Thai staff a different way than communicating with foreign staff maybe, or is there no difference?
Well, maybe in the speed of how fast I talk, but and some of the vocabulary. But actually, other than that, no, there isn't.
Oh, you don't find the local staff to be more kind of sensitive, or people, or just people?
There are sensitive people in Canada, and there are sensitive people here as well.
That's a great answer. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope to have you back very soon to give us more useful expert advice.
Thank you kindly.
All right, do stay tuned. We'll be right back with So This Is Thailand.
Now we will find food at Wang Lang Market. This market has a lot of food to offer. Let's try some. It's really good. It's so fresh. Street food is just the best. Yeah. It's the most accurate food that you can get for this culture. Really great. I will just keep exploring. This is great food. Let's see what they have over here. Looks like something made of fish. Thank you. Kakunka. Really great. This is fish, right? Fish? Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna taste. It's really fresh. Awesome. What do they have over here? So much different food. Yeah. I'm gonna try one of these guys. Oh wow.
This is also good.
Really good.
Try?
Sure.
This is good.
Very crunchy and such. I can't even tell which ingredients they are, but they are delicious. Such tasty food.
This is
And
really
it's all
good.
homemade. It's all fresh. Great. Wang Lang Market is located next to Sirirat Hospital. It stretches up Van Nok for at least 300 meters. The easiest and quickest way is via the BTS SkyTrain. Get off at Sapan Taksin Station. Take the express riverboat to Wang Lang Pier. Now we're at the market. Here you can find a variety of clothes and accessories such as vintage dresses, leather bags, hats, shoes, and fashionable glasses and so on.
The popular things here are the second-hand goods, like second-hand brand name bags and shoes in a very low price.
Actually, not only clothes. At Wang Lang Market, you can also get a great variety of old and new books and many different styles of food, such as food from southern Thailand, which you can normally not get in Bangkok, but you can get it here. It is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day. But the best period to come would be on Monday and Wednesday, because that's when the new second-hand stuff arrives. Walking through this market today was a great experience. This felt like being a little ant in a huge colony full of people and many different things that you can buy.
I just enjoyed the food. I'm gonna come back for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
This is Anne and Anna from Expat Travel Peak, and we're gonna see you again tomorrow. Bye!